Hey friends, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. So today was a full day of coaching calls for me, and it's often very similar themes that are coming up with my coaching clients as we talk through things. So July is such a tough month in the sense there is so much going on, right? With social activities and traveling, and we were not able to do these things for so long. And so we're just so much busier. So if you are struggling more this month in terms of staying on track with your health and your nutrition goals, you're not alone in feeling that way. Like I'm having a lot of people really struggling this month with being able to continue to prioritize these things. And I try to keep things as simple as possible and realistic to people's schedule, but more than normal this month is busier in so many sense, and that's okay because like your nutrition and your goals should be periodized. They should be recalibrated. So sometimes, weight loss or fat loss is the goal. Sometimes maintenance is the goal and that's the win. And sometimes, focusing on how you want to feel and you don't want to be hungover on Mondays. Like everybody's goals are different. And that's the cool part about really focusing on what success looks like for you. So I'm just having a lot of people trying to navigate lots of travel this month, lots of softball and baseball games with kids and navigating those, schedule changes, a lot of these barriers with people. So let me know, what are the things that you are really struggling with this July? Is this something that you're feeling as well, where even though it's the summer and we have sometimes more flexibility, we can also have a lot more challenges. So I thought it would be helpful today to share some of the things that I've been focusing on with my clients, and even talking through like a situation with someone today. She's been traveling like almost, it seems like this month, like every week to a degree, whether it's like 3 days or 4 days or, here and there. So it's hard to really plan meals also accordingly when we're out of the house for several days at a time. So the first thing that we talked about is thinking about before, during, and after your trip, because a lot of times we're just focusing on the actual trip and planning for that. So if we can think of beforehand, okay, how many days do I have before we leave? What are some options I have for food? So take an inventory of your fridge, your pantry, and your freezer at this point and make a list. Like really go through things. What do I have? What can I utilize now? And then thinking of things that you can bring with you that are goal supportive options. So this can look very different depending if you are traveling or flying, how far the trip is, how long you're gone for. There's a lot of variables within that. But generally speaking, if they're we'll say that you're driving in the car, thinking of some things that you can bring with you and planning ahead, like what time you're leaving that day for the trip, what meals you can do from home that you do have more control over, maybe like prioritizing a balanced breakfast before you leave and then bringing your lunch with you, knowing that dinner will be out that evening. So you can kind of work within your day of things you can control to help you feel your best and things that, you can have some more flexibility with. And then during your trip, this is going to be a whole nother conversation about how we focus on our goals there. But again, just making sure maybe if you're staying in like an Airbnb and you actually have a kitchen with you, that you can have some options you're bringing with you. One of my clients, we talked through some ideas and meals that she can do there that were really quick and easy. That she could still do lunch and breakfast there if they were to do dinner out or something like that. So that's something that you can also plan through. And I'm just talking through this with each person and figuring out what makes sense for them based on how many people they're cooking for, what foods they like, and what they have access to as well. And then you want to think of after, and this is the biggest piece that I often see go to the wayside, is we don't think about when we come back from our trip. And this is where we're often tired. We have so much to do. We're jumping back into schedules. And the last thing we're thinking about is like our food when we get back. So if you can think of this before you go and set yourself up for success, this can be such a game changer in setting you up and going forward into your week. So again, if you're doing your inventory before you go, have some things that you can utilize for when you get back from your trip. So utilize frozen and pantry staples. I was just going through this with so many people today, like utilizing things that are non-perishable that you can create balanced meals with. So for example, like a protein pasta, a protein plus pasta that's going to have more protein than traditional pasta to get some extra protein. And then maybe adding a store-bought pesto or red sauce, tomato sauce with that for flavor. And then you could add some natural chicken sausage. So you can buy natural chicken sausage, freeze it, and then you can pull it out for that meal that you want, saute it up really fast, boil the pasta, add the sauce, and then maybe some frozen veggies you can add with that. Another idea is having some other protein sources like frozen chicken burgers that are already pre-made that you can pull out and cook really fast. Veggie burgers that are frozen that you can have ready to go, and then frozen veggies and frozen grains. Go in the freezer section. If you haven't recently, there's so many more options of things that are really just prepped for you that don't have a lot of the additional sauces and additional things that can add up. So, look in there, and there's even like pre-cooked whole grains, rice, farro, steam fresh, I think from Bird's Eye is what it's called, and they have like power blends and protein blends that you can heat up and then pair that with something else. Utilizing white albacore tuna and making a tuna salad with that with mayo and adding some jarred peppers for flavor and crackers. Like, you're hitting all the components there. So making sure that you have some options when you get back. And then the third thing is that utilize your downtime for planning. So I know we don't always want to think about like, okay, the week I get back from vacation, jumping back into that routine, but you're actually doing yourself a disservice by just like saying, okay, I'm just going to like have a free for all this week and then go back into the crazy. You're going to be in survival mode and you're going to feel worse. So if you focus on using downtime that you have during vacation, like when you're driving in the car, if you're not driving and you're a passenger, like utilize that time for meal planning. And I'm having one of my clients do this, we just talked about, and her husband's driving. So she's going to use this downtime to bring a recipe book, cookbook with her and take some time and just write out some meal ideas for the coming week when she gets back. So she's not doing that or having to do that in the mix of the crazy when she's back. So that way she can have some stuff there, and then she can make her grocery list. She can even do her meal order online while she's away. So that way she can pick it up on Sunday or Monday or whatever day she's back from her trip and have that set up for her. So she already has meal ideas, she has the food, she has the resources she needs to be successful. And if you focus on how you want to feel, this is so motivating, because when you do these things consistently, you feel really good and it makes you want to continue to do these behaviors. So changing your mindset around these things, where I know oftentimes we get into the mindset of, I have to do this. Like, I have to meal plan. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to eat vegetables. I have to eat fruit. If you're thinking of your health goals in that sense, they are going to feel like a job and they are going to feel like a burden. But if you change the way that you're talking about these things and you're saying, I get to move my body, I get to plan my meals, I get to eat food that makes me feel awesome. And if you can use that sentence or those words, that phrase within these things that you're struggling with, it's a game changer. Like, seriously, try this week and let me know how it goes, because this has been so powerful for me and so many people I work with about changing the way that you're talking about your goals that you're doing, or anything in your life, like literally anything that feels like a lot or challenging. The way that you present it to your brain does not know the difference between perception and reality. So if you're telling your brain these things of like, I get to do this and it's really exciting and I can make this fun, it's going to find more enjoyment with that. So start to train your brain how you want it to think about things, and it'll bring more joy and more fulfillment into these things for yourself. So, and including people within this, like, if you're on vacation with people, like, you can talk about meal ideas together. And maybe like if you're with some moms, it's like, okay, let's talk about some meals for the week. What's your idea for this night? What's your idea? And like, get other feedback for there, right? So there's so many ways that you can make this more enjoyable versus another thing on the to-do list. Okay. So let me know if this is helpful for you guys. Number one, before, during, and after think about food planning. Take an inventory. Number 2, take an inventory of your fridge, pantry, and freezer before you go, and utilize convenient options to create balanced meals with. Number 3, use your downtime for planning ahead. When you're driving, when you're flying, when you're hanging out at your Airbnb, when you're hanging out in the hotel, you have more downtime usually on vacation. Utilize this to set you up for when you get back from your trip. You're still plenty of time to enjoy yourself and to check out, but completely neglecting every responsibility is actually going to make you feel more overwhelmed when you walk into that week. So do this because you get to, okay? You get to take care of your body and respect yourself. So I hope that was helpful. This is, again, a super tough month, but also so many opportunities that we have to find enjoyment within these things. And there's so much fresh produce, so much fresh food right now available. So when you can use these convenient options of things we talked about, add in the fresh stuff with that. So if you're making, pasta and red sauce, add in some fresh basil from the garden, add in a nice fresh salad or zucchini from the garden, right? And add in some of these fresh produce options with more of these convenience prepared foods. So let me know if that was helpful for you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon.